Hello, good morning. Myself, I am BSR, botany lecturer. Today, our topic opening and closing of stomata. Opening and closing of stomata explained by Levitt. Photoactive stomata. Stomata open during daytime, close during night times. So, opening and closing mechanism in the plants, the two photoactive plants. How? This is the guard cells and these are the subsidiary cells. And this is the stomata, stomatal pore, entire constitute called stomatal apparatus. Guard cells, subsidiary cells, stomatal pore, constitute called stomatal apparatus. Anyway, guard cells, in the guard cells, chloroplast is present. When the chloroplast is present, which perform photosynthesis. It means which can synthesize starch. Due to the presence of chloroplast, starch can be synthesized. That starch converted into malic acid. That is converting into malic acid. Now the malic acid splits into malations and protons. So slowly these protons are moving from guard cells to subsidiary cells. Protons are moving from guard cells to subsidiary cells because the malic acid continuously splitting into malate and protons. So for that ATP energy is required. ATP is required. So that movement is active transport. When ATP involved, that movement is called active transport. So when the protons are moving from guard cells to subsidiary cells, potassium ions are accumulating from subsidiary cells to guard cells. So here potassium ions are coming. So potassium ions when comes to balance, chloride ions are also moving from subsidiary cells to guard cells. This movement is passive, passively moving potassium ions and chloride ions. So here potassium malate, chloride malate is forming. Here in the guard cells now malate ions are there, potassium ions are there, chloride ions are there. Due to the presence of more ion, water potential decreased in the guard cell. Due to the presence of more ions, water potential is decreased. So when the water potential decreased, water always moves from high water potential to low water potential. So when the water is entered into the guard cells, here thin wall, water is entered into the guard cells, that guard cells becomes turgid, helpful for opening of stomata. Here thick walls are present, here thin walls are present. So due to entry, that cells becomes turgid, helpful for opening of stomata. Whereas night times, in the night times, there is no synthesis of starch. When there is no synthesis of starch, no malate and protons. Proton pumping is switched off. No protons, no proton pumping. So proton pumping clearly switched off. So if there is no proton pumping, their potassium ions are moving from guard cells to subsidiary cells. When potassium ions are moving from guard cells to subsidiary cells, chloride ions are also moving from guard cells to subsidiary cells. So that is why here water potential decreased. Here water potential is high. So water moves from high water potential to low water potential. It means from guard cells to subsidiary cells. Water is moving. So when the water moves, that guard cells becomes closed. So it helpful for closing of stomata. That explained by Levitt. That is the mechanism of opening and closing of stomata. Okay, thank you.